Hey, everybody, come on in the room. Come on in the room. I hope everyone had an amazing week and that you guys are ready for the weekend. We made it. We made it. We made it. And we're back to talk an interesting documentary. I'm using the word interesting like as a really light adjective because you'll get my full feelings about this doc as we discuss it. But this is Netflix's The Investigation of Lucy Letby. And I won't get into any detail right now. But Tyra, how are you today? How was your week, friend? Are you ready to get into all the things tonight?
Girl, the week was weak. Okay, it was weak. Hot
Week was
mess.
week.
Week was weak. However, this doc, it deserves a conversation, but it doesn't at the same time. It's in a weird middle ground of interesting, but interesting for all the wrong reasons. But yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
That's very, very true. Let me say hello really quick to the people that are in the building because we love y'all so much and we appreciate y'all showing up every single time. Hey sis, Tremaine, what's going on? Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey Jazz, what's going on, sis? Hope you're having a great Friday. What's going on, Breeze? What's going on, Breeze? And hey Rico, what's good? What's good? What's good? I hope everyone's having a great day and keeping warm. Hopefully it's warming up wherever you guys are. Oh, we gonna get into it, Meredith. Cause so did I. Cause what the hell is this? It was just everything. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's not even pause. Let's just get right into all the things, Tyra. We start here every single time. And I'm gonna go first this time. We're gonna switch this up a little bit because initially, like the first maybe 10, 15 minutes, I'm thinking, okay, we're getting some information. Being that we're in the States, a lot of us were unaware of who Lucy Letby was because she's in the UK and all of these things. And I really was going into it like, oh, wow, this is horrendous. This is horrific. This is terrible. And I can really see the issues with the hospital, with the administration. There's no way all these babies have passed and there's been no intervention, right? And then as we progress further, I'm like, oh, this isn't, oh, okay. This documentary is retrying Lucy in the court of public opinion. This isn't about the facts. This isn't about these babies who were harmed or unalived. This is all about protecting this white woman, Tyra. And it pissed me off because I think it takes away from the validity and the true call, I think, of what a documentary or a docuseries is supposed to represent. And that's telling the story, right? Without a lot of bias. We're trying to present facts of a lot of times very heinous crimes that impacted victims. It shouldn't be a platform for you to exonerate or sow seeds of doubt in terms of the innocence of the predator, the person that was tried and convicted over a year span of time. And I just really hate a narrow slanted view. We talked about this a little bit when we talked about the Real Housewife, the cult of the Real Housewife, because it was
Mhm.
kind of similar in that, but opposite. Tyra, and for that reason, the AI, all of that, it felt like this was strung together. It feels like it's a savior mission. This is not the Innocence Project. I'm sure they have agencies like that here. I don't think that's what this should have been. And so for that reason, I couldn't get into it. It wasn't hard hitting. It wasn't deep. We didn't get to feel the emotions of the parents who lost their babies. The one
Yeah.
automated AI mom that we saw there, it was almost like she kind of was defending her by the end. I was really confused. But Tyra, tell me, what were your overall thoughts? And were you confused by the end of it with what their messaging was?
I mean, the message was let my sis out, free her. She didn't do it. That was the message that I received from it. There was no in between. The entire time I was waiting, like, okay, when do we get to the other part? Because we brought up the crimes and the way that they happened. And it seemed like after that, like right up on the arrest, the agenda was this is why you need to let her out. And these are the people who think so, especially her bestie. The AI was strange. That was a choice. Like that took away from it immediately and took me out of whatever the doc had to offer already. But what I really didn't like was I'm sure that every single time Miss Thing here is brought up, Somebody's parent somewhere who lost their baby has to relive this situation. And then you bring something out and is completely altered and committed to protesting her innocence. Like, I really didn't see, if that wasn't the plan, I think you messed up. It was odd. Like, the interview choices were odd. The way that they even dove into what she did and how we discussed it, it was like it was like somebody going down the grocery list. It was so random and odd. I didn't feel any passion from anybody, either way or the other. It just felt like we were trying to walk a fine line, and we're going to tell you what she did in so many words, but we also want you to know why we don't think she did it. But nobody was like, there was no friction. I was like, where with this subject matter, and myself not knowing anything about her prior to this, I was like, okay, this should be really interesting, probably, heavy, but good at the same time. There's no reason for it not to be. No, no, it was borderline boring. Right there with boring. And then I think it does a good job of making you upset, because even with us getting into the judgment of her overall, the actual arrest and the way that she was handled, public eye or not, was very cute. And that pissed
Mhm.
me off, because why are we being cute with a murderer? No.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all the things because I just the way that this documentary, like you said, with this subject matter, should have had every viewer crying for the loss of life of these babies, and the way they completely made it about her, it is beyond. And we'll get into all the things and what my theories are as to why. But let's kind of talk about some facts really, really quick, because I think we need to get a full understanding, because I think people on the socials and everything have it twisted. I even put some comments from my TikTok that people have put up here still defending her. And so we're going to get into all the things. But the fact is that she was found guilty of unaliving 7 babies and attempting to unalive 7 more. This is a former neonatal nurse, and was sentenced to life with no parole. She did plead not guilty. The jury deliberated for 10 weeks. This was not an over the hour, like we're back with our verdict. They deliberated. Mind you, the information that a jury is given, even in the States, right? As much as we say our justice system is flawed, you do have to be mindful and aware of the burden of evidence that has to be prevented to even make it past, the probable cause portion of a trial, to make it to a jury, and then said jury deliberating. We've seen, the legal serials and how they go through the process, but we got a tinge of information compared to what that jury that convicted her did. So I want people to keep that in the forefront of their mind. Also, this is a mid-white woman, and we know how the world loves mid-white women. These people did not lock her up unjustly. And I just want to say this: I was not there. All I can go is based on the facts that have been presented, that I have looked up online. And if she didn't have a specific hand in it, which I believe she did, she is still culpable. There's no way 25 babies pass in that amount of time, and every single night you're on shift. Every single night. And we'll get into it. Also got some tea that not only was, of course, we know per the documentary that there were 25 babies that were either collapsed or passed away before they mounted a full investigation. The pediatrician who was over the unit had looked into this, or tried to have them look into this, after the 3rd baby's death, right? So
Mm.
this was not just out of the blue. She had been on these people's radar far before that. It's the administration that didn't take action then, right? So again, the doctors requested investigation after the first set of collapses, injected air into the bloodstream, right? This is what she did to these babies. That she's been convicted of: injected air into the bloodstream, causing a embolism, overfeeding and injecting insulin when the insulin was not prescribed, also using synthetic insulin in these babies. She confessed in her damn diary. We have it written down on paper. She stole the baby's medical records. She was stalking the victim's parents on Facebook. Y'all not, Tyra, they're not gonna stand on my shoulder, piss in my mouth, and tell me it's Kool-Aid. Y'all are
Please,
not
nothing.
doing that to me. And these are the facts, Tyra. This was clear to me, even with their slant. I knew how she reacted that something was off with Lucy. But
Yeah.
Tyra, what do you think of these facts? And again, like I said, this is out here. This is public record for anyone who wants to seek it out.
For somebody to get such a pass who is maybe mildly attractive to some, just think about the people who really have pretty privilege who commit crimes. Oh my goodness. It's just because she's white and she's blonde and she's blue eyed and she's the picture of who shouldn't be doing this because we couldn't believe that. Everything was there. This woman is like textbook serial unaliver. She's collecting, she's watching, she has data, she has mementos. She has a variety of ranges that she's taking out the time to harm these babies. I don't even, oh God, it really hurt my feelings. Um, the reaction when they cuffed her, when they initially spoke to her, I really want a discussion around her and whatever protocol was taking place in that hospital for this to go on for as long as it did. I don't know. I just there's everything, at least the little bit that we did get from the doc, because they really didn't dive fully into these things that you have here the way that they should have, because they were trying to be passive about it so we can get to why we really think she's innocent in the conspiracy of it all. She's not innocent. She's not. And anybody who thinks so, you're a fool. I need you to give me soul information as to why you believe that and make it make sense. Facts. Not something that you heard around. Facts. Because these here, as Ashley said, these are facts. We are stating the facts. I couldn't fathom why anybody would try to get her out. Get I don't know. I'm shocked, but I'm not, because we've seen this happen so many times. But I want it to come to some like concise conclusion and for it to be left alone, because you may have parents out there kind of in disbelief that, well, was the proper person who committed this crime against my baby arrested? Are they still out there committing whatever, harming someone else? Like, we need answers. It needs to be something definite for something so serious. So the fact that this doc and people surrounding her, whomever, her champions, thinks that she's innocent and there's people out here saying these things, I need them to stop. I need them to stop. This I was like, Netflix, y'all put this out? When you told me that we were doing this, I just assumed that it was somewhere like true crime, whatever, one of them little bat channels, something, A&E, I don't know, not on Netflix. Netflix is such a broad space to come somewhere with this strong ass propaganda. I really didn't like this.
Yeah, and clearly Mervyn Pervin is one of her fans. She did not spill medical records. We literally saw the cases of medical records that they took out of her apartment. And as far as Facebook, they literally found it on her computer. So before I block you, I just need to say that because that's weird as hell. And Mary G, there were actually 25 baby passings. I'm not saying that they were all her or all murders per se, but there were 25 before the hospital themselves launched an official investigation and got the authorities involved. Yeah. That's what they said on the documentary. Now, if that ain't right, take it up
where they're going. Not so much her innocence, but I think she, as well as the hospital, they are culpable for all of these things taking place. They should have did the ultra protocol by the time we got to that second and third baby, and we didn't. Somebody else needs to be held, to task just as she is. But saying that she's innocent is just a lie. It's a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, in the hospital. We'll get to the hospital because, yeah. And so, again, right over here, what is the documentary actually trying to do? Like I said before, normally a documentary is a tool used to shed light on something, hopefully maybe one day to solve a crime, right? That's still unsolved. A lot of times we'll see it to bring awareness that these things happen in the world. And so how you can safeguard yourself, the things that you can look for, the signs, or to simply bring awareness to travesties or miscarriages of justice as it relates to, a specific crime that goes forward. This was absolutely not that, in my opinion. This was very much not about the loss of life. It was very much not about the victims' families. this was all in an effort to shift the narrative and I think get this lady another appeal. She's already requested two, they've been denied. She still sits there. And they're not doing this for just anybody. So, Tyra, I'm really curious. Who does she know? Why are they on this bandwagon? And what do you think the real reason is? Because this is not just for nothing. This is not for nothing.
Well, who produced it? Where did it come from? That's the slide I was waiting on. You'd be like, who did this?
Oh, girl,
who's
I didn't even want to know.
who's responsible? Because this is her lawyer here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where there's a property, there's an ambulance chaser. This is one of those strong notoriety cases where any attachment in any type of way is good. It just feels like this is a chance to get your name out there. The lawyer was giving you too can be defended, for a crime, even if you did it. Because I'm going to fight for you the way that I'm fighting for Lucy. It felt like kind of I think that little resurgence at that little moment we got for those Menendez brothers when the show came
Mm-hmm.
out and everybody was just kind of up in arms, and all of a sudden we go way back to the 80s and we want to discuss these deaths and these cases, and oh my god, they need to be freed. This felt like that. And we see where those Menendez babies are still where they are. But it's like we're taking every single chance that we can have, especially if those two appeals were denied. It's like, okay, well, what's next? Because we're going to keep going. I'm sure this won't be the last effort, but it felt like this was something put together by her team, whoever her team is, along with this lawyer, because everything was just very artificial here. We disguised it as one thing to maybe try to get eyes on it, and then we do a little jump, and it's like, hey, this is why we really want you here now that you're set. Yeah, this is for her, but I don't think it's going to work because I'm not convinced.
Yeah, I'm not either. So this was directed by Dominique Seaver, executive produced by Carolyn Short and Ian Rumsey, and producer was Carla Wright. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And I don't know none of the people or what they did. I really don't even care. Ugh. So again, the greatest miscarriage of justice this century, Tyra, is what the headlines are saying. And I want to know, why are people so determined to see Lucy Letby as a victim? And here's my thing, because as we go, and I have a slide for the arrest and all of those things, I honestly think they don't like the image of a mid-white woman committing such heinous acts. I don't think they like the atrocity of it. I don't think that I think that she's the every woman. And I think it irks the white women there. I think that's who's behind the train to get her off, because how could she? She has blonde hair. Look at her. Look at her. She's so innocent. Like, she was a model student. Like, she was all of those things, yet she's writing in her journal she's a bad person and she killed these kids. Why are they so determined to make her the victim in this, Tara?
Girl. I mean, we see this all the time. It's not surprising. The Barbie and Ken killer is a little Mary Kay Letourneau type situation. Like, you're going to get off. You're going to get another chance. These are the typical women, mid or not. I love how you keep calling her mid white woman. These are the usual suspects who get another opportunity. They get a little slap on the wrist, and then eventually they commit further or even harsher crimes in a different way, some type of capacity, and then they're arrested. But they normally get a slap on the wrist. It's like, you're gonna arrest her? Where's the just cause? Where's the proof? We need the way that this doc was shouting about proof and context, and it's like, it was we took it out of her home. You took it off of her phone. Everything was here to point in the direction of her being absolutely guilty, and we just don't want her to be, because of what I think society has been conditioned to expect. She's supposed to get off. She's supposed to get a slap on the wrist. She's supposed to get her mental state and a plea in that way, and her insanity, a plea, and all, we got to check all of these boxes before we put her behind bars. No, you guys looked at the evidence for face value and you just arrested her and threw her in jail. How dare you? It's my white woman and I need her now. We don't do this to the whites. We don't do this to her. If she was a different kind of woman and looked a different kind of way, this would be a completely different story. I'm just shocked that she's not more attractive. That's what sends me.
I'm not.
Like, if she was serving, like, Guilty or not, they will give a serving, mid-serving, a Casey Anthony moment. Like, oh, she's just so, mesmerized, and we just don't know what to do. We have to, find her not guilty. We have to give her some room. No, she is very mid. She's extremely mid, and it's still like, no. And that's another thing that kind of plays on the heartstrings. Like, she's mid, but there's like this air of translucentness, or like this innocence thing. Like, oh, like, look at her. She didn't do these things. Look how she's reacting to being arrested. She couldn't have possibly do, like, she maybe isn't even all there. How do we know that she's okay? Look at her. She's not, capable of doing something so terrible. These are heinous crimes. Girl, it's just the mid YT woman, as you said.
I really, really sat with this, especially when I was making the slides, and I said, even if I'm just, and I'm, this is just, a theory or idea. And again, I still feel as though she's culpable. But even if it was just, you're a bad nurse, like, you know what I mean? Like, but I can't even say that, because the one thing that they did say is that she passed all of her exams with flying colors. Initially she was the greatest thing since sliced bread. She was fully capable. Cause I'm like, maybe she's making mistakes every night. But after all of these babies, like, you didn't say even if this is the case, you didn't say I'm struggling with this. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Mind you, they're calling you in on all the emergencies, on all of the sick babies, even on the well babies. And I was trying to make it make sense in my mind, and nothing can let me get rest with her not being directly involved in the unalivings of all of these babies. Now, we'll get over here to the hospital a little bit, because like I said, I watched a video earlier on TikTok today with an interview from the pediatrician who was head of the floor. And basically he said after the third death, he was like, I need Lucy. She was involved in each of these collapses. We need her investigated. And the hospital really was like, yeah, no, that's nothing. We can't hold anything to her. It's fine. Said they did a little cursory glance. No, everything's fine. It was just happenstance. She didn't do that. She couldn't have done that. She didn't do it. And then after 25, then it's time to call the authorities. Now it's time to do this. And now we do see her on every shift. Mind you, this pediatrician told you after the first set this was going on and what his concerns were. Tyra, in what ways do you feel the hospital should be held accountable, and the administration? This man, I think this is the same man, but he got up there and basically was like, yeah, I feel guilty, about the loss of life, and a little guilty that, we didn't recognize it sooner, but you had all the tools to.
I would shut down the whole hospital. They would be held culpable every single way. They would be held accountable. That hospital will be no more. Unfortunately, some hospitals who get the brunt of just oh, that's just nothing, is the most innocent. When you get into those infant wards and probably the elderly, they can get mistreated, and it kind of goes unpunished, unscathed, because they can't speak on their own behalfs. And I really hate this, because this leaves paranoia, especially for new parents and mothers. People just feel like, yeah, leave my baby in this room. I have my baby. Don't remove my baby. I need my baby by me at all times, because you just don't know. Like, this should be held at the most, care. These are babies. Babies. And then you just think about the time span that you have the baby, you're in the hospital. What you may, because you're really trying to get your cute stuff on up out of there before they charge you. Most of the time, if you have a normal birth and there isn't any issues, you probably have a 2, 3, at best 4 day stay, 4 night stay in the hospital. Majority of the time 3, and then you're checking out and you're going home. Between that little 3 day window, you were able to harm a baby this often? This is wild. Second time, third time, antennas are up. I'm checking everything, every single person who was there every single time moving forward. A warning goes a long way. Even if that initial, maybe second or third time, and we're doing checks and balances and we call everybody to the carpet, this is what's happening. You were on shift, you, and you. I need you guys to make sure you're on your P's and Q's, blank, blank, blank. Cross those If not, the next time we come in here, it's not going to be so well. Maybe that, who knows, that could have made her pipe down. That could have made her be set. Like, okay, maybe they're on to me. It could have made all the difference. And then if it would have happened again, oh, okay, now we're doing whatever process of elimination, and we're getting, zeroed in on Lucy. This could have interfered and saved so many babies' lives. And unfortunately, it didn't. This hospital will be no more. And whoever the hell is still going here, pray for yourself.
Listen. Well, they said after she stopped, listen, the death stopped.
I'm sure it did. Absolutely. But for me, I would have a trust issue with
Yeah.
the hospital because they didn't interfere sooner. And from what we're seeing here, they haven't had any ramifications for what happened, right?
We'll get
They're,
to it. I have a slide for that actually.
no.
Actually
Go
do.
ahead.
But now let's get into the arrest because they're interviewing everyone now. Again, now that the 25 babies are gone, now it's time to look into this to see what she was actually responsible for. And so they kind of start going through the list, looking at the causes of unalivings for the babies, looking at different things, interviewing her coworkers. And she's so anxious, she calls them like, so when is it going to be my turn? When is it going to be my turn? And so a lot of people in the comment sections that I saw scrolling social media are like, see, that's what did it. It was in her mind. She was just so anxious. She just wanted to, I was like, no, baby, that's guilt, honey. That's guilt. And knowing that you're soon to be found out. And so we find out that, of course, she was working every shift. After being interviewed, it was like you remember all of the details on each of these babies up to a point, and then say, I don't want to answer that. I don't want to answer that. Mind you, we saw these interrogations. I don't want to answer that. I don't remember. I don't remember that part. I don't remember the collapse part, but you remember feeding them at 5, 10, and 2. You remember all of these things, but now you don't remember this. Then we go in, we find medical records, we find her journals, we find, again, her Facebook tracks, going and looking up the babies that passed their parents that same night. And then, of course, we're coming in with this delicate and gentle arrest. Baby, is it too tight? Do you want to put your clothes on? Do you want to hug your cats goodbye? Do you want to give them a kiss on the lips? Put your shoes on. Are you warm? Can we stop and get you something to eat on the way, Lucy? I just want to make sure you're so comfortable. And remember, we're not judging you. We're not judging you, Lucy. We just want to talk to you. We just want to figure this out and get an understanding. Oh, let me loosen it a little bit. Did I hurt your arm? Oh, Lucy, it's okay. It's okay. Just let me put your seatbelt on you to make sure you don't fly through the windshield. Are you good, Lucy? Are you good, sweetie? Are you fine? The most delicate and gentle arrest, Tyra, I think I've ever seen in my life for someone who is presumed or, a suspect in harming. It makes me feel like, Tyra, people hate children. People hate babies. You don't care about these kids. You don't care about this. You don't care about this. If this doesn't take you to your wits' end and make you perform some sort of police brutality, I don't know if you really even have a heart, Tyra. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Now she wanted some brutality. Um, I don't know why the commentators would feel like, see, the pressure was sinking in and she was just nervous. How many docs and movies and whatever's have we watched where you have serial unalivers have all of the mementos, all the
Yeah.
information? They watch the family, the sisters, the brothers. They want to know if they're being discussed. Oh, they're really looking. Oh, they're really hurt. They want to get a reaction and emotion. And then they be trying to stay close to the case to see, are they on to me yet? What's going on? Are they really getting off on the fact that nobody's looking at them? So they get to doing it more and more often. It's all textbook and it's all here. So I don't know why we would be trying to act like, oh, they pressured her. The hammer was coming down, and so she just no. And even if you didn't do something, the correct answer is never, I don't want to talk about that. I don't remember that. I don't. What is all the deniability? Like, what are you doing? It's simple questions. They handled you in the best way possibly they could. There was no real interrogation, so there was no reason to really have any fear. You were guilty and you were scared. Okay. Now, this delicate, gentle arrest, girl, this is very triggering. And it's very triggering because most often, as Black and brown people, when we see ourselves reflected in an arrest, and a lot of the times, unfortunately, it's a call being made, or there was noise coming from here, or somebody entered the wrong apartment, or oh, there was a mishap or some misunderstanding. I think the neighbors think I'm selling dope. They just busting down doors.
Listen, shooting in the closed doors.
Shooting in the closed doors.
Listen.
Busting down doors, tackling people, tackling fathers, mothers, children, pulling out guns, weaponry immediately. It's no line of, oh, you might lose your life because you reacted wrong, or they thought, oh, you were going for something. Oh, I felt unsafe the moment I entered the house and I had to gun her down. But we come in here with her and we do everything but rub this hoe's feet. I was annoyed. I was so annoyed. We see this too often, so it's not unexpected, but you're just having a visceral reaction because you know what she did to those babies and how often she did it. And you're like anxious, especially in this doc, because you really don't get to hear from those parents who have a negative outlook or who want to share their immediate feeling and, being heartbroken in the loss and the experience. You just only see this kind kitty thing with her. And it went on. It's like, okay, fine. Y'all want to do this here? When we get to the sit down in the interrogation and it's closed off, we're going to really do our jobs and lean in. We're going to good cop, bad copper or something. No, they adjusted the AC, gave her a blanket, gave her a hot meal. It was just it was Meals on Wheels over there. It was a good old time.
Yeah.
Probably gave her I think she was feeding into it like, okay, well, yeah, if they're treating me like this, I'll probably get off. I'll probably get off, because if they're doing this here, what are they going to do in the courtroom? Like, we, immediately jumped into our victimhood, our womanhood, because I couldn't possibly, I don't know. It's right over there with my favorite white woman statement. If you touch me, I'm going to scream. I'm going to scream. I feel very attacked. If you touch me, I'm going to scream. It's right over there next to that. This was disgusting, and everybody here should have been ashamed. And I'm not, trying to advocate for police brutality. I'm not. I would never want to say that. But we've seen more for so much less and so much innocence lost. Did I want her get, uppercutted? Did I want a knee in her back? I want her on the ground? A grip on her neck? Some tight cuffs? Are they too tight? Because I can loosen them up. If they're too, are you okay? Are your wrists okay? Because I know how it could be. It could be really uncomfortable. Are you okay, Lucy? Did I want somebody to chin check her? Sure, because she didn't get chin checked enough. If she would have got chin checked a long time ago, we would have been done. It would have been no 25 babies. I would have found this hoe.
You would think. I can't even, and I also tried to put myself in the position of, right, like, we're in the States and we are used to something different than they are in the UK. And, they have nightsticks. I don't think they all even carry blickies. So maybe it's maybe it's a culture. Maybe it's a culture.
I said that too at first, Ashley, but bruv, he got a hoodie, bruv. He got a knife, bruv. him trying to stick me, bruv. Soon as you got a knife in a shiesty, oh, you're a criminal. They would have billy clubbed him. Okay, so I'm not even giving him that either.
Yeah.
Soon as band for band pop out with a knife, all bets are off. I don't know.
Just saying, it seems that way. But now we're over here, and of course, we are going through all of these copious amounts of serial unaliver notes. I'm like, really? And y'all don't think that's weird? That's not suspicious? All right. And literally says, I am evil. I did this. You literally see it written out. Literally, with facts and details and all the things related to the different babies. So she even confessed and charted her kills, Tyra. And again, we still have people out here. We still have people in the comment sections, even tonight, coming in like, really? And they're saying, oh, she was just in mental duress. It was the weight of the pressure. And, she had been interviewed and it was just looming around her. And this is just how she felt, but it's not actually what she did, Tyra. It's just how she felt. It's not what she did. And this was from a mental health professional. This was his point of view. That, this was just the weight and the burden of all of it, of the investigation. And that's what made her write that.
Did she not write any of these before?
All of these were written before. All of these are written during time.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what are y'all talking about? She wrote these before. It would be different if some time had went by, if we maybe had that third or fourth baby's death and everybody was questioned and it was brought to her consciousness that, oh, they're on to me, and you felt whatever. And then afterwards, like I wrote, no, 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 no. You wrote that before. This isn't nothing. This not no dear mama letters you wrote when you got locked up. You wrote this before. Who writes this before?
Well, I'm saying so they did have the initial thing, right? And everybody was questioned. And then remember, because she knew something before because she
Mhm.
called them to see when it was going to be her turn to be interviewed or questioned or whatever. But there were so many notes.
Okay. I'm
I
gonna say,
still
even writing the notes, I'm evil. I did this. If she was just internalizing it,
Yeah.
what about her keeping up with the cases? What about the mementos there, having these babies' informations and files and records? Why would you need that?
Mhm.
What is she going at? What? Oh, she was investigating. She was trying to find the real culprit. That's what she was doing.
I mean, and it's really crazy if you think about it. If you know you're being investigated, why would you write that down and have it in plain sight if you think they're going to come into, you know what I mean? None of it makes sense. Get this loose.
Lucifer. These Lucy's acting up, ain't they?
Anyway, easing on down the
Lucy's
road.
innocent. She's innocent.
Why did they get involved? So, of course, as it goes down the line, we meet an expert who says basically, I want to investigate this because this type of embolism, typically doesn't happen this way. I'm going to review all the existing notes. We're not going to do any more testing. We're not going to look into anything else. We're not going to exhume anything and do any other tests. We're actually going to take these tests and we're going to refute what the medical examiners, the coroners, everybody else who did the investigation for the trial, and we're going to do our own because she doesn't deserve to rot in jail the rest of her life because she didn't really do this. The air embolus, that was not on Lucy. And so he says some of the most qualified experts from around the country, they convene, they pour over the documents and the medical records, and they say that these were not air embolus. Mind you, they still didn't account for why she was giving insulin to babies that weren't
Mhm.
prescribed insulin, why she was giving them synthetic insulin, and why she was overfeeding them. Mind you, a lot of these babies that were unalived were stable. There were a few that were ill, but and on the mend, recovering. But the rest of these babies were stable. Tyra, why did they get involved? And why did they mount this? Was this, like you said, with the lawyer, this was just a hot topic and we want to be seen?
I
Or
think
is
so.
there some machine behind this?
I think this was just a hot topic between just who we met here. If Bessie can advocate that way, and I think the one thing one of them said was, the parents, they were reaching out, they were heartbroken, they didn't understand, they kept protesting her innocence, and I think they saw something here. I think attachment to this was validating, especially I don't know their careers, but you have those lawyers or whomever, it's like, oh, this is a career making case. This is one of those cases because it shouldn't be, but it's so indecisive for so many people, and this is what gets your name out there, your business, your words, and you can be that one. Oh, you were that person fighting for Lucy. I always felt like she was innocent. You can fight for me too, or I can call you for whatever. I think this was a business move. I think this was that, like a machine. I would hope. What machine want to put themselves behind Lucy? I don't know what it would benefit Seth Machine. So I really feel like this was an individual, like, ambulance chase moment. This is my moment, good or bad. I really don't give a damn what she did. There's room for error there, and I'm going to sniff it out and I'm going to profit off of it because she didn't do it.
My thing is, I feel like in order for you to practice medicine, and a lot of these doctors that were present for the trial have practiced for years. What makes this work that they did insufficient in comparison to your work? Mind you, like I said, they didn't conduct any new tests, any new exams. There was nothing examined except for the initial documents that we had before. There was no extra anything, supplemental research done to provide any new information. That's where I kind of find fault with it, because how are we to believe your analysis over this analysis, barring a peer review, it going, being what is it called, defended, and all of those things like you would do in graduate school. This makes no sense to me, other than, again, another effort by the defense to get this in the court of public opinion and sow a seed of doubt, right? I'm like, if you weren't able to do this in the trial and they're not buying it on appeal, why do you guys keep doing this? What's
Because just imagine if someone believed this and let her out. I think they were waiting for the turn of the tide. Like if they actually the uproar and the how big this would be if they actually exonerated her and she was out walking, people would lose their mind. All of these people, their practices, what they did to even get her there, it would be everywhere.
You're right about it. That would, the fanfare. Now,
Yeah.
the AI animization, it felt off, Tyra.
Anime.
It was so weird. I was like, so here's my theory. I don't honestly think the director, producers, executive producers really reached out to all of the families impacted. I don't believe it. I think it's very weird that the people that did come on here chose this. Or if this was like just a creative choice, it was weird as hell. The what is it? The voice was off from the way the mouths were moving. They were
Mhm.
very smoothed and blurred and edited. It just doesn't buy in. Somebody in the chat said it earlier. I would have rather if they did it like they did in the old school days and just black out the face and have that
Yeah.
deep voice thing over their voices. It just felt artificial. It felt fake and it felt empty, just like this documentary, Tyra. Why the AI? Why was this your move? And how did it make you feel watching? It made me not believe any of it. I'm like, why? Why?
I think they legitimately didn't really have someone who wanted to come forward and sit here in the flesh as much as they are protesting, mom, dad, bestie, who really wanted to be here and attach themselves. So you could be somewhere minding your business, bruv, in the market, and somebody go, "You're that lady from that doc who said that thing. You're wrong, or you're right, or whatever." Who wants that on their shoulders? Now, if they would have did the OG black out the faces and they wanted some emotion here.
Yeah.
They wanted to like see. I'm like, you couldn't have thought that this was seamless and nobody would be paying attention enough, or because it wasn't. It was very, very odd. I haven't seen something like this in a long time. But you can't really convey too much because I know when we used to get the old school blacked out faces, we'd be like, "Oh, I just want to know. I wonder what their face looked like when they said that. I wonder what they were feeling like when they said that." And then the voice will be like, "Yeah." Then we were like, "What? It's all robotic. I'm getting it, but I'm not." So it's like we don't want to go that route, but we also don't want to show nothing at all. So we need something here. We're gonna use AI. This is so it's it's artificial, of course, but it leaves like a bad taste of fakeness, and it's just not personal at all. Nothing about this felt, as much as they want to advocate for her and put this over there for me, like in the side of we're trying to get Lucy exonerated yet again, this was the wrong way to go about it. It really felt like, well, if you got your degree and you know everything and you love her so much and she's just so innocent, why wouldn't you be here to show your face in the
Mhm.
flesh and talk about it? I don't know.
And it kind of begs, and not that there's a lot of integrity over here in this piece, but how with AI you can make somebody say anything, you can make the facial expressions anything you want them to be. Like there just will never be you'll never match the human experience, the human like affect with AI. It'll just never feel right. It'll never feel sincere. Even looking at it, even if they hadn't had the disclaimer, you could tell that this was weird. It was like, what is this a real thing? Like, are you a real girl? No, and I hated it, and I really hope that other documentarians do not implement
Yeah.
this. This was a bad idea, and they're being reamed. They're being reamed online about this. They were like, it's already divisive enough, this documentary. You didn't need to add the AI element to it. We didn't need that. Not in this way. No. Now, as far as Countess of Chester Hospital, this is the hospital and administration that did all of the things, right? An investigation, actually an inquest, has been made now for 6 of the unalivings, and they will be digging deeper, allegedly, and looking into the fault of Countess of Chester Hospital. I think at the end of the documentary, they did mention that some of the families have filed suit And I don't know if they've been awarded officially, but this inquest is open. Now, there was a word, I believe, from the prosecutor that says they don't want any of this new investigation or inquest to tap into the existing conviction for Lucy. And that kind of did give me a little bit of pause, because why would you make that? If you guys have nothing to hide and conducted this investigation thoroughly, why would there be a thing of you worrying about them digging deeper and possibly, I don't know if they're going to do exhumation or any of that, but they do say they're opening an inquest, whatever that looks like.
Do whatever you got to do because they're at fault.
They're definitely culpable.
I don't
Absolutely.
know. The chances being taken as far as Lucy and what it could mean for her conviction, I really don't know how they can collide. Two of these things can exist in the same universe. She can still
Absolutely.
be guilty, and this hospital can still be negligent and at fault. Do what
Okay.
you're supposed to go do. Like, they have to pay. They have to pay literally, and they need to pay up physically to these people. I'm glad that they're suing, and we're trying to get some type of closure in any kind of way possible because you guys are you were here. You should have done something, and nobody did anything. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They need to be held accountable. I will never disagree with that. And like you said, two things can be true at the same time. They can be responsible for not having oversight, not taking the, and especially since it was brought to them previously, they should definitely be held accountable for this pattern of abuses that took place. But also, she can still be very guilty. And I really honestly question any of those people who can claim her innocence and not consider the innocence of these babies. That's the thing that bothers me. It's like, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that she didn't do this because this was damn the man and justice for Lucy. Justice for Lucy. She did not do this. This was not a fair trial. All the things. I'm going to read them, girl. I'm going to read them. Let me make it big so I can see it.
Oh.
Okay. So in my comment section, I haven't watched it yet, but I've watched all the others. And being a nurse who worked for the NHS, which is their national health system in the UK, I can say I think she's been scapegoated. NHS is toxic. I said what I said, but I'm going to give it a watch tomorrow. Okay, girl. Whatever you say. And then we have incomplete evidence, flawed scientific evidence, Letby conviction unsafe. And they
Mhm.
have a list of all these women who were wrongly convicted of unaliving babies. How you know they were wrongly convicted? Unless you've been in a NICU environment, either as a job or as a parent of a patient, you wouldn't understand how these facilities operate. This is absolutely a case of the system trying to use a woman as their scapegoat. My son was born premature and I had to watch over and do XYZ. That one got cut off. But the court of public opinion is having their way, just like we've seen these weirdos in the comments tonight that just are completely advocating her innocence, period, without even really knowing all the facts that were presented in the trial. Like I said, there's stuff that the public isn't privy to unless you went through and literally read every single case note from every day of trial that lasted for almost a year. You mean to tell me that you're without a doubt sure she had nothing to do with it? This is that what is it, that bias that people walk around with, right? Where she looks a certain way, she looks like my cousin, she looks like me, she looks like my sister. There's no way she could have done that, and because of this, I'm just going to ride for her. Or on the other side of that, this system has done me wrong, it's done my family wrong, it's done all of these things, and here's the thing, because I get something from just being here in America, and we know how disproportionately black and brown people have been convicted and sentenced
Yeah.
wrongfully, right? So I have, like, I feel that and I understand that, but I don't believe that this is that. At the end of the day, I'm going to look at something and I'm going to try to weigh it evenly. This is somebody's life, but it was also 7 babies that she unalived and 7 more that she attempted that a jury convicted her of after being presented all the evidence over a year. And what's the word, what is it, deliberating the verdict for 10 weeks. Like, this was not a hasty decision. She doesn't look like a person that they would want to clearly. We can see it in the comments. They don't want her to be guilty of this, but that doesn't change the fact that they convicted her. And that's all we can go on. Tyra, what do you think of these comments? What do you think of these people who've dropped in the chat tonight and had something to say? She's innocent. This didn't happen. When we saw, that is something the documentary showed. We saw the cases of medical records. We saw that she went on.
I don't care about this. This is normal. All the serial unalivers have a fan club. This is no different. All of them advocate, whether it's wrong or right, whether they are just up in arms about what they did and don't care, and it's just freedom regardless because I'm a part of the fandom, or you just love this person and relate to them so much that you're going to support them and you want to free them anyway. I really don't care. I just want them out. This is normal. They're doing what they're supposed to do. What serial unaliver at this capacity do you know that doesn't have a following? This is
no, even Wade last week had a following, girl.
Yeah, Wade had fun. And I can there are those people, and then I understand that there is the other half that had bad experiences as far as maybe their infants in the past, or premature, or like a NICU situation. It's like, well, the hospital was at fault, and I didn't receive justice, my baby didn't receive justice, and this is what they do. I have firsthand experience, so I'm really advocating because I know what they're capable of. There are those people too, and I'm very sensitive to those individuals. But like I said, two things can be true. I do think that she is guilty, and like everyday people outside of like maybe that deep, like maybe TikTok hive who really go and read the case line by line. Nobody's doing that. Nobody cares to. They just saw her and they felt for her. And it's like, well, okay, well, if that's just all it takes is one notation that something is off. Just one. You could have all the evidence in the world. It's just like, well, this one thing doesn't match up. Oh, that means she's innocent. You need to let her out. That's all it takes. And these little bandits, they don't look like they all there anyway. It's
Not
just,
these little bandits.
this is just par for the course. There's always going to be a divisiveness to cases like this where people are split down the middle. We don't want it to be, because think about these babies, think about the lives lost, this innocence. She looks innocent. That's what I don't want to think that she did something. She don't look innocent to me, but I'm just saying.
Me either. And here's the thing, because I would never want somebody to be wrongfully convicted for something as heinous as this. But I also know and feel deep down in my spirit that this jury didn't hastily come to this conclusion. There was a judge presiding over the evidence that was presented, the validity of it and all of those things. Like, I don't think she got an unfair trial.
This is the same doc where we'll have the bestie, and we have to dig for any opportunity to protest. And as well, she was always smart, and she was a good girl, and she did well in school, and we were best friends, and she was always kind of to herself. It was given like people were jealous because she was a little awkward and she wasn't, all social. Even in the workplace, they were mean to her. Why do you have to say that? What does that have to do with anything?
Because she was bullied, and that's why she did it. It very much gave to me as we were watching. I was like, I wonder if she wanted to have babies and never had a baby. That's what it kind of gave to me. Like, if I can't have one, you can't have one. Again, I don't know her psychopathy. I don't know her mental health diagnosis. But it was giving some of that around the edges. And like I said, let Lord's will be done. If she's innocent, which I highly doubt, they'll come to it. And if she's not, she need to stay exactly where she's at. In Jesus' name, Tyra. I'm not playing with these people. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be on the side of the innocent babies that lost their lives. J Baby, J Antoinette, hey boo, a member of the struggle for 16 months. Girl, we appreciate it.
That's a long time, girl.
That's great. That's without a gap. That's without a, let me re-enroll, let me rejoin. All right?
As you said, she paid your payments on time.
Every month. Period. Hey, y'all. Hey, that heifer guilty. Period. In my opinion. In my opinion. And thank you, Beck, because she said, let me bring it on to the other side too. Not you been a sweet pea for 18 months. Hey, everyone. Hey, boo. We appreciate you. Every month, Tyra. But wrapping this on up, because we do have a live immediately following this live, a trend in the true crime space to center the perpetrator and forget the victims. We've seen it with Ryan Murphy, with the Ed Gein story. We saw it with the Menendez brothers. And we've been seeing it more in documentaries that have been really used as weapons to one side or the other, not really impartial, unbiased news pieces, kind of, right? As far as what you would think of as a documentary. How is this going to work going forward? Are we unfortunately only going to see more of this in dramatizations in the true crime world or even in documentaries? What are your thoughts on that? And drop it in the chat. Is this par for the course now?
I hope not. Whether it's dramatized or it's in the form of a doc or it's a TV show, the best ones are pretty even, and we're sure to sympathize and consider the victims. Anything outside of that, it's never good. It's never good. As far as like a writing perspective, it's either all like super salacious, like we got with that Ed Gein, that was just grotesque, or it's on the opposite end where we can have something like I felt with Dahmer, where we thought it was going to go to the 10th degree. And it was like, oh, we're actually showing the perspective of the victims and being courteous to these families and considering certain things that I surely didn't expect from a Ryan Murphy child. No, don't make this a thing. Because you could have someone try to take this, we're going to make the Lucy show and play. And when we do this, we don't have people, they're not reading cases, we're not reading files, we're not doing homeworks. People will watch something on TV and take it as face value, and people have another gun and another aim and something in the chamber to go see. Bang! See? Uh-huh. This is the truth. This is what really happened. See how innocent she is? See how they were playing in her mind? See, they're going to play in the space. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. I'm hoping that this isn't a trend, because regardless of what they tried to do here, the doc was not good. Even if it was all about exonerating and it wanted to be free Lucy, it still could have been good. It wasn't. It wasn't. So if you're not here to just entertain and also consider both sides and make a good documentary, don't put this mess together. This was bad. I would never recommend or watch this again to anyone, even with how, grand it could be as a case. When it's like one of those docs and we're like, ooh, girl, you have to see this. Did you see the look? This is like, why? Nobody needs to see this. This just needs to be swept under the rug. I'm hoping that this stays where it is, but with a case like a Lucy, we got to get a Lifetime movie. We got to get a TV show. We have to get all of those things. She already on Netflix, so here we go.
Ryan better not get his, like somebody said in the chat, if Ryan Murphy get his hands on this, I think it was Jazz, and I pray he never gets his hands on this situation. I don't want to see it. I won't watch it. But you guys, that was Lucy Letby, the investigation, or the Free Lucy Project at this point, because I can't even call it an investigation because they ain't really investigate anything in the documentary. And of course, everybody has their opinions. I guess it's polarizing. To me, it shouldn't be. At the end of the day, I think people should be worried about the babies who lost their lives and the families who don't have these babies to go home to anymore. That's the real tragedy. But Tyra, anything else you want to let the people know before we get out of here?
Yeah. Come back. Because literally right now, we are about to get into relationship goals. I cultivated it to be a fun live. So be there and get entertained with some Method Man and some Kelly Rowland. Come have a good time.
Come on, you guys. And I am going to be playing the promo for our for our Blockbuster movie night tomorrow, because members only, we're having our Blockbuster movie night, and I chose the movie. The movie is Just Cause. And I kind of chose it first because it's Black History Month and it's going to subvert expectations. And also Tyra has never seen this, you guys. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. That I saw the boy, it was a woman's sunny day. All I know is I wanted you.